So anybody suspecting a nicer review, I guess you're gonna get that over the mediocre night one. I swear, there was more Bailey on tonight's night two than there is to be ever, ever necessary to have. We had Jay Leno in 3 segments involving cutting off Titus O'Neil and Hulk Hogan till the Bella Twins came like second half into the pay per view, and then made a John Cena reference, even though that's several years late. So we're gonna is this their thing? Like, let's start with a bang by putting the highest drawing, the bigger storylines or the bigger matches on the opener. I mean, no, we know that the triple threat match is important, but why couldn't the main of the opener be second to last? You think I really needed extra time for Asuka versus Rhea Ripley? There was no centralized crowd reaction. You could have the women's tag team title match go as the opener, the U.S. title match be the opener, or the Raw Women's title match be the opener. What's centralized structuring for a card makes the least built match like Rhea Ripley. She just came from NXT. Nobody knew who this chick is. Supposedly a forcible un a forcible up and comer that didn't even pave her way for a title shot. Just points at the sign after having like one tag team match where she doesn't like Asuka. Then she beats up Asuka. They have a contract signed. They beat her up. That's the build. That's WrestleMania. That goes second to last. Out of the bigger storyline that hell, I know it's drawn out, but hell, at least it's taken time that you would feel like WrestleMania would be the supposed conclusion. I know damn well it's not, but still, it makes a lot more sense. Titus O'Neil and Hulk Hogan were dressed as freaking pirates. That made me almost want to shave everything in my body. They were trying so forcibly hard to make it PG. Your hard diggity deed, I'll make this Negro walk the blank me hearties of brother. Wait, what the hell? That's how bad you try to improv it out to try to make as much pirate puns while you still have that crappy CGI giant skeleton pirate on the goddamn football field, even though you got everything in its mother on Minitrons. The stage looks fine. At least there, and I don't see this a lot, that there's more props or that much impractical structuring for pay per views that I wish WWE can do. And that's kind of not been the thing for unique, unique or interesting stages since 2008, in my opinion. Like every pay per view looked different. It had a different theme or had a different unique name about it, and it felt like it was a different atmosphere. From Backlash is totally different from Raw. You just put 3 Minitrons with each other with a pirate ship on top. So we opened with your top storyline on Raw. That's been given at least 5 months, 5 months of build. So Orton's literally a known arsonist now, suffering already first-degree burns in the face. The Fiend literally getting burned alive, live on pay-per-view, has survived literal brain damage with taking a mallet, a toolbox, and several curb stomps to the head. With many of Goldberg's spears and jackhammers. Braun Strowman's power slams. Even though Braun Strowman's a jobber, it's still supposedly supposed to sell that these are powerful maneuvers that could take out normal opponents, and the Fiend can eat all those. But in the feud with the stupid Jack in a Box with pentagrams on it, yet such demonic detailing, yet we're still trying to oppose to still a family-friendly audience. It's really inconsistent, and I've talked about this before. How inconsistent the demographic WWE has really declined, and I'm trying to do a video on it, but I want more systematic proof. Like, dude, it's really upsetting how they structure their card. Yeah, I think there was only 3 decent matches, and the main event was good at least. And the match was just elevated DDT. No sells that off the first one. Elevated DDT almost gets the near fall. Many stomps over to the Fiend. Mandible claw on the outside, but Orton escapes. After a Sister Abigail was forced to be countered, the Fiend will get distracted over Alexa Bliss with black stuff coming over her head with some stupid crown. So it looks like she's trying to escape the Fiend or control the Fiend or some other explanation that obviously makes this more ongoing. But to put this as your opener really contends more on why this match was even that short to begin with. Highly questionable what WWE's faith in the Fiend creatively is really going to centralize. Because obviously, I really care about 2 heels wrestling for tag team titles. And over the distraction, Orton hits the Fiend with an RKO. One finishing maneuver. When this guy can no-sell and get 1 count over Goldberg's spears. And like 11 curb stomps that they had to end Hell in a Cell and ref stoppage. That is dumb. And that's only 7 minutes of me explaining how in the hell you can F up immediately at a match opener. Oh God. I forgot, what was the first time Undertaker and Kane faced at WrestleMania? Imagine you put that as your match opener. Dumbest thing ever. Next up, we had 2 heels. This was the better women's title match of the night. Because at least people were into it than the Rhea Ripley and Asuka match. There was hard kind of Rana. There was decent selling over the ankle for Natalya. Super kicks over the wazoo for Tamina. There was at least, like, I thought, stock audio for Tamina chants, in my opinion. Because the way you're trying to get 2 heel tag teams over in the standpoint, at least because 2 of them were generational talents, even though barely any of them have any essential talent that makes them transcendent. The heart attack that looks poorly done. Natalya struggling to do the goddamn sharpshooter. And she was doing this while the ref knew that Natalya, Nia wasn't even the legal man anymore. Legal woman. But I'm still not taking that back. And, the ref didn't even like try to cancel out the hold because it's not like they did a ref spot or any ref bump or anything. He was still like conscious. He was still watching the match. So why didn't she told him that doesn't count? And then Shayna takes advantage and hits a Coquina clutch and picks up the victory. Matches at least I think longer than the match opener. By God, man! If anybody's telling me that this supposedly got higher fanfare than the match opener. That's a problem, man. Like I'm not trying to like disrespect, but who really cared about this match over this mishmash of crap divas level garbage I had at that tag team turmoil match from last night? Like many other stuff could have been later in the card that at least had centralized build. We had a 7 minute. I think we had like 7 minutes into this goddamn Intercontinental Championship Nigerian drum fight. And there was decent selling over into the ribs, suplex on the steel step, I think there was a Uranagi straight to the steel steps. Apollo with massive drop kicks over most of it. after a frog splash gone wrong over to the table, Big E finally capitalized with the big ending until some guy from Raw Underground that used to be like I guess a favorite for Shane McMahon, Kate Ebo type jobber. So now he's affiliated into some kind of African bodyguard for the assessed uh the Nigerian Prince character of Apollo Crews. Apollo is the new Intercontinental Championship champion. So I don't mind the title change. I thought the match was a bit too short and an average into my liking. I don't know why they are poorly timing matches with fair amounts of build like Big E and Apollo that's been going on for the last few months. Most of these matches that are structured are under 3 to 2 weeks. Riddle, it just took like what, late March to build over Riddle and Sheamus, and that was for the United States Championship. And they even had a backstage segment involving him and the Great Khali, like he's that over. It was like, bro, what about scooters in the Indian market, bro? And then Rob Van Dam would have, because obviously Riddle is cool as Rob Van Dam, and trying to understand Indian freaking Khali's manager that I haven't seen in years was there, and it ends with him riding over on the scooter with the Oh my God! Riddle's entrance. It had like seals coming over, and one of them was wearing a pirate hat and an eye patch. It was so bad. Oh God, it was so bad. So yeah, let's just go over this stupid match. Knee drop, knee drop. There was a Spanish fly. Riddle hit a freaking jackhammer for some apparent reason, because he talks shit on the internet means he's obviously as cool as Goldberg. Bicycle knee that got countered into a forearm. There was supposed to be a white noise on the top rope, supposed to be a high spot. Sheamus slipped and just hit one over in the ground while still holding Riddle. So it just fell over until they kept striking each other, trying to go for a springboard moonsault. Sheamus counters with a bro kick, the cooler spot of the night. I guess I'm not, it was cool, but over the momentum they had just a few moments earlier with the botched white noise, kind of took off a lot of interest over that match. The match wasn't good, and it wasn't bad. It was forgettable over the standpoint of that they didn't have to put this match at Mania. You had at least 7 total match for each day. They could have cut off the women's tag title match. They could have cut off Rhea Ripley and Asuka. Hell, they couldn't. They don't have to have these people wrestle. That's the point. You could have made this a decent 4-hour event. It could have been fairly structured with the matches people actually wanted to see, like the Nigerian drum match, like the triple threat, like Lashley and McIntyre. They could have went a little longer, or at least had some extra stuff. Especially for the Fiend and Orton, I was just suspecting some blood or something, more special effects, or something other than Alexa coming around like enforceable blackface. I'm joking about that, folks, but Jesus, it felt underwhelming. It's like they're doing stuff for the lack of doing it, and just to appoint a narrative. Like I really have to care if Riddle doesn't beat Sheamus. And most of these matches were missing something, and I'm gonna tell you, if I'm not emotionally invested, I don't care how good the match is. I praised a good match out of Cesaro and Rollins, but I also explained that I'm gonna forget it in over a month. Because it got nothing to draw me into why I wanted to see Cesaro win. Other than, oh, Rollins has a better career than him overall, so they're wrestling each other. That's literally it. And most of the time, Cesaro got the one-ups on Rollins anyway. And it was mid-card fodder. It was supposedly was another forced singles push over for Cesaro that obviously can't do it because he's bland as hell in the ring. I won't say that he didn't pull off amazing stuff in that match, but really, what's really going to push him over to beat a guy like Roman Reigns if they even like if they made him have a title shot at Backlash or something else? He's only like forgettable IC title reign to me. I'm sorry, but that's how it is. And the Bayley after like I didn't go over this on night one, but by God, the goddamn ding dong, hello. I don't know if she's supposedly supposed to force over some heel heat. She even screamed around until she got her own damn pyro. The Eric Bischoff that keeps looking older and older every day comes around just trying to like reference that Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks, obviously superstars. They deserve to be with my 83-week podcast. I don't know how much of a mark you are to reference your the last time WCW was successful and make it your name for your podcast. Jesus Christ! It's like if Jeff Jarrett named his podcast 2005 to 2007. That sounds bad. And that was his cue for him and Hogan to walk away from the conversation, and Titus was just there. We also had the Hall of Fame ceremony. Of course, RVD, the Great Khali, Kane, Jushin Thunder Liger. I mean, no, that was 2021. I mean, no, that was 2020. And what Ozzy Osbourne couldn't make an appearance. Like, by God. And you suspect a guy like Ozzy Osbourne, like, I don't want to stop. That was literally my favorite theme songs from one of the pay-per-views I watched. I think it was Judgment Day 2007. You suspect like that a guy like that to get more coverage because he's notable for making some noticeably great theme songs for WWE. You know, when WWE actually was notable for getting cool pay-per-view theme songs, but you have if you guys bring back Bad Blood as a pay-per-view, you're gonna have The Weeknd sing it to actually get people's adrenaline rushing when it comes to seeing some weirdo light skin and tall dreadlocks that looks like he grinds on body pillows, talking, just singing about Drew McIntyre, Bobby Lashley want to kill each other. Why don't you love me? Oh my God! There's blood everywhere. These men are going hellbound, nearly killing each other live here at Bad Blood. She left me, but I want nothing serious. Like really, it's really bad. Even they try to subjugate the time to even recapping night one. Then just doing that on tomorrow. I mean tonight, technically. So we had, of course, I think like they keep hyping over these women's matches, and they're trying to go for Asuka's. This is unbeatable. So how come she barely gets time to television time? She has the shortest feud to date for the women's division because I guess because she's the Raw Women's Champion means she has to make an appearance at WrestleMania. It's so dumb that they just force over Rhea Ripley to just get over on her. I guess because she's been irrelevant as Raw Women's Champion, but that's technically not her fault. But now we have this butch, broad-shouldered, rip-off Lacey Evans Hot Topic looking dyke with a chick that looks like Shotzi Blackheart singing her theme, "This is my brutality," with no essential charisma, not that attractive, and literally another Charlotte Flair ripoff coming around just getting over on Asuka because they technically have got creatively bankrupt. They're trying to make a brand split women's championship actually relevant. The match was fine, I guess. Like 25-minute bore fests of just roundhouse kicks and roundhouse kicks. Uh, a top rope. I think there was a corkscrew moonsault in some part of the match. big boots, multiple stops over by Asuka. I think there was a DDT from the ring apron to the outside that I was scared as shit for both women. I've seen that before. I think when there was a swinging neck breaker of Becky Lynch and Asuka back at the Royal Rumble of 2019 when they were feuding for the SmackDown Women's title, and I was scared shitless. So those women looked like they were barely moving until later on in the match. And then it comes over with wow, the Riptide. That's just a pump handle slam. It looked power slam, and it looked less powerful. Especially like if you have like a finishing maneuver and you're doing it on an undersized opponent, and you can't sell it as a powerful maneuver. Well, who really is going to get behind that? They made Rhea Ripley win. I didn't mind because I thought Asuka was just getting underutilized, and we know that she's just gonna win it later. And Rhea Ripley, like a chick that just debuted like under a month ago, forcibly in the title opportunity spot without even like at least they can't get she can't even get over off pinning like at least Bianca Belair beaten Bailey a couple times and is so supposedly a established chick in the roster. Rhea Ripley just been tagging with Asuka and having a contract signing with minimal build other than she's this chick over on NXT. You're not a dynamic main event level free agent. You're in the developmental. Nobody knows who you are, Rhea. That makes no sense in my opinion. Oh goodness. Like what are they trying to do to really force over any change in this women's division that's gonna get these chicks over? NXT is a crap farm system over to even get some of these people on television. Who other than the Shield actually got or potential faces of the company or top card, upper mid carders or main eventers? I'm sorry, but if we look at the SmackDown roster, majority of these guys came over from NXT. And if we're counting Cesaro because he tagged with Tyson Kidd, most of these guys are not even going to scratch the surface to get a clean win over Roman Reigns. Oh, but because they're great wrestlers. No, that's not how it works. But let's cut off back. We're going to sidetrack back into the main event. It was, by the way, the women's match went second to last, and they got very little fanfare. Barely anything was happening. There wasn't barely even a commentary table broken up or anything. What was the selling point? Nothing got me emotionally invested, man. That kind of hurts me. If there's no crowd reaction or emotional investment over to the worst storytelling I've seen in possibly a long time. We can shit out WrestleMania 32 like I did earlier this month, but at least I can say that they were trying their best to at least push over Roman to be their top babyface to overcome the corporate Triple H. At least I can get behind that story, even how force fed that was to get Roman Reigns over. But at least I can get the gist, and it took time to feel like, okay, Roman Reigns needs to get the belt over Triple H. So Roman Reigns, Edge, and Daniel Bryan for the main event. It was a good match. I can say that it was a good match. Average spots over on the table. Jey Uso, of course, there's no DQ, so we thought of trying to shorten the competition. Super kicking Edge and super kicking Daniel and tossing them over to the ring post. Roman Reigns trying to get openings over on Edge, or when he separated from Edge and Bryan, they try to go blow to blow, especially over a Superman punch. And yeah, there's a DDT over on the steps. There was a massive execution over a reversal from a Superman punch. Oh, by the way, that DDT from Edge was on the steel steps on Jey Uso. Cool spot, but I was a bit scared sick because I thought Edge landed a bit awkwardly on the back of his nape, and that kind of scared me. Roman Reigns, when he was getting pissed off after it looked like he was finally gaining momentum, and hit the spear on Edge. Daniel Bryan pulled him out the way, broke over the pin, and got power bombed for his troubles, and they kept selling over like when Daniel got Roman into the yes lock. The ref was out, and most of the time Roman Reigns fought through the pain to even not tap when the ref was even seeing him do it. So you're selling over Roman to be the chicken shit heel technically, and we already know off cam that he can handle the yes lock. It makes no sense how yes lock the commentary was terrible tonight. Byron Saxton said a combined 2 sentences in 3 hours. It was cool enough over with Edge getting pissed off over two spears hitting on Roman. Daniel breaks it up and he brings 2 chairs. Big boots. There was a great back combination of a running knee over to a Superman punch. I got reversed into a Fujiwara armbar into a yes lock until Daniel kept doing the only cool thing in his arsenal, and it's those dumb stomps. Other than him doing suicide dives, one I was scared for when he was about to slip until Roman caught him, and it finally ended over a spear and then another concerto after Edge hit a concerto on Daniel Bryan after hitting him with a spear. The other cool spot was when Roman was getting a crossface with a piece of steel chair, and then a yes lock, but he still didn't submit. I thought they would do Roman Reigns taps out by both competitors, so they would turn it into a one-on-one match. I thought that would be the worst case scenario, but the smarter thing was keeping Roman Reigns in it after they kept fighting who to tap him out. So Roman wins. He after spearing a concerto, get both men concerto, he piled both men up in a dominant looking fashion to get him more over as the top guy over in WWE. Smart move. I kind of knew that this was going to happen. I did a poll over on Twitter. Supposedly, more people wanted Edge to win. Sadly, that would be kind of more fitting for the Cinderella returns comeback story for Edge, but it would be the kind of opportune thing to try to get Roman Reigns as the more unifyingly great world champion, because the Universal title kind of had this irrelevance factor of injury-prone part-timers winning it. It would be nice if we possibly have Edge winning it at Backlash. If he's willing to still contend for in some pay-per-views, that would be really nice. But yeah, the build was more potent for Edge and Roman to fight, and I think they would do the same thing. With Roman picking up the dub, Daniel wasn't booking himself to get involved. But yeah, this was a really good match. And at least averagely built at best, even though Daniel was the essential top mid-card jobber, forcing himself over in the main event all because he whined because of the disadvantages, even though he had more of an opportunity than Cesaro that beat him clean several times, and he wasn't a favorable contender. But they wanted to do Daniel Bryan to guilt trip over this guy to be his final match, and it was barely prioritized other than the pre-match promos. It's this gonna be his final match. It's there was no emotional investment over even with Michael Cole Samojo. And Corey Graves. It's really that bland. Whenever you hear these journalists, most of these guys are going to sound like Michael Cole. And other than Gorilla Monsoon, Bobby the Brain Heyman, even Paul Heyman of all people, Jim Ross, you're telling me you want to sound like Michael Cole? Oh, God. But decent main event, smart move, gets Roman Reigns to be mega top guy, awesome triple threat match. If it would be smart enough to do a rematch because they're finally actually doing Backlash after WrestleMania that they should have been doing for the last several months, because Backlash last year was at June, I think, or July, where they had the greatest match ever that was literally booked for Orton and Edge. So hopefully Backlash is better than the last 2 nights of WrestleMania, because I thought these pay-per-views were mediocre, poorly structured. Over night one, that was selling over a narrative with long matches that were unnecessary. Oh, I forgot to go over the Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn match. Logan Paul did a 6 sell over for the stunner, and that was technically it. I've seen too many Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn matches to feel emotionally invested. The match took 3 weeks of build. over Sami Zayn. Oh, he's crazy. He's a conspiracy theorist. That's literally the selling point that they're trying to get over, and Kevin Owens is supposed to knock him out of this funk because he's known him for 15 years. Or we have no other matches for Mania, so you guys have to do because fans know that you guys know each other. That's literally the reason. And why I wasn't like essentially trying to go over this, even though that was an average match, is because it had least to get me grouped in other than Logan Paul. They think was the most mainstream top guy to go for, all because he has double digit million subscribers. That is so stupid. What would be a mainstream ploy for your biggest pay per view of the year. Because yes, being 23 million subs, that's incredible. But it's only YouTube. It could be a niche market, especially in a global wide show where people will be seeing this on live pay-per-view or any other streaming services where this will be broadcasted on live television. Nobody technically knows who Logan Paul is. There was a brainbuster over in the apron. These guys were just super kicking, doing sentons. So many power moves over on the ring corner, and it felt like they were barely selling them. Like they were barely selling them until Kevin reverses over another haluva kick to hit the stunner. That's technically it. Until Sami Zayn fell short with Logan Paul, and then hits a stun and gets stunnered, and Logan Paul gets stunned after pushing away Sami Zayn. That's technically it. That's the whole storyline. Hopefully they don't continue with this on SmackDown because that was a crap, mediocre Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn match with very little to get behind. But that's the show. We have at least one new champion out of Rhea Ripley that I guess every neckbeard on NXT will be excited for, I guess. I don't know what's going to be the future for the Thunderdome because I know that the rent will be the timing will be up for that. I think they will still be doing Thunderdome until it's clear come June or something that they can allow fans back in arenas because I don't know what's going to happen after Mania. It's nice to see fans back. I'll put that into praise. How WWE can go about it, and we had no reported cases, so that's always nice to hear. WrestleMania just felt super rushed in my opinion, even though they had no reason to be rushed. With only a reported 4 matches that felt like they had essential build, and 5 they didn't have to do for a combined 14-match pay-per-view. And this was technically shorter combined than WrestleMania 35 at 16 matches in total if we include pre-show. But other than that, how you guys felt about WrestleMania Night 1 and Night 2 overall? Thanks, I finally got this out of my chest. Other than that, oh god damn this, I just felt like these shows weren't it. Just the non-essential storylines that they just force over your head. Barely any build other than never put your top storylines as match openers. Ever. Ever. Stop trying to do over this inclusive stuff. You should be doing the stuff that's gonna profit you the most to be your main event level matches. What's the point of doing Rhea Ripley and Asuka second to last over Orton in The Fiend? Super stupid. Really stupid. Nigerian street fight should have been longer. Riddle and Sheamus, you could have cut that off over the bat because you think people think Riddle is over to the nichest degree. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn didn't even have to happen. Oh God. Other than that, that's it coming from the DST show. Comment, subscribe. Thank you for watching. Hopefully, we get to see the fans back shorter than necessary. Apart for some of the matches that WWE wanted to push over, they weren't even that interested. The 2 women's title matches they weren't even into other than the women's tag team title match. That's not a good sign. Other than that, that's it coming from me. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. WrestleMania is as much as I did, and that matters the most, your enjoyability factor. And you always share it to me. If you were live in the event, please tell me your experience. I understand night one we had a weather delay. Night two we were pretty better at that, timing wise, and there that wasn't there that many technical difficulties. So yeah, thanks for watching.